incredibly proficient in the use of firearms, had been an instructor in some capacity. And so, we're not just talking about anyone on the run here. We're talking about somebody who would very much perhaps have survival skills, have knowledge of the wooded areas throughout Maine. And that is why we are still under a shelter-in-place order here. Businesses are closed, schools are out another day, second day in a row. Three people are still in critical condition behind me here. Three of the victims passed away in the medical facility here. And so we're in this really heartbreaking and excruciating place, guys, where the community is starting to grieve, still waiting for the confirmation of the names of some of the victims, but also unable to gather. They can't have vigils. People can't meet up in public and process all this together because there's still an active threat.
Absolutely, such a good point. Antonia, tell us also in the aftermath. I know
Never been caught cheating, but probably cheats all the
That's What's Wanted. Expect truck driver, now charismatic spinner who trains criminal racers. Just looking for you and convenient for the story. Source of the fun. Either way, you still have no choice, kids. So let's go.
Continues to push back, even retaking territory where Congress has been slow and is heavily dependent on Western support. He has been that to Ukraine well stocked with top-of-the-line military weapons, but it's no guarantee that it will last forever, especially with elections and community allies coming up. Which leaves many people to wonder how will this war end? That's what historian and specialist Roland Territorial Dispute sat down to discuss on CNN. University of Rochester professor discussed the possible ending points of the war, how likely they were, and how hard it would be to pay the end to the conflict. Long story short, don't expect any victory parades anytime soon. Romans has been analyzing the war for decades, and one campaign teams that many will not go again. The most famous war in history, World War II, was one of the only ones that ended with the decisive blows finishing off one of the two sides, followed by an unconditional surrender. Similar to the U.S. Civil War, but that was a mutual situation given that one of the two sides wasn't a fully formed country that most both sides would do anything they can to avoid a full loss. More likely to shoot tactics, like a tactical retreat, or choose to keep the war going on as they were. But not every side has a choice.
We even got a garage where you can build your own set of wheels. And like my favorite game, Clutch Tower, the heart of the operation.
This was entirely possible in the open-based war. Russia's self-defense and conquered the capital. Capture Zelensky or threats in exile, seek control of the Ukrainian government within weeks before NATO could form a concrete response. It almost happened. A massive advance of Russian troops from Belarus saw Kyiv nearly captured, but Ukraine pulled off a risky move by blowing a dam that flooded Russian pontoon bridges, denying the Russians one of their access points. The war settlers gained infrastructure employment. Ukraine has continued thanks to NATO backing, but it hasn't given up. Russia has pulled off several surges since the early days of the war, sending large numbers of troops into Ukraine to mixed effect. While in some cities like the mining towns of Soledar, most are bombed-out areas in eastern Ukraine that are in the area Russia already controls. Russia also simply does not have the resources, either militarily or in terms of manpower, to overrun Ukraine anymore. That means that for Russia to pull off a total victory in the war like Putin is promising, some major things need to change on the ground. But all of these options might have some serious problems. Since the start of the war, Putin has been threatening to use nukes if NATO doesn't back off and let him have Ukraine. These threats are designed to scare the more dovish governments in the alliance into disengaging, but it doesn't seem to be working for several reasons. For one thing, no one thinks Putin, or more likely his generals, are foolish enough to attack NATO directly, so any nuclear attacks would likely be tactical and aimed at Ukraine. This would only harden the resolve of Ukraine's allies. The other elephant in the room is that no one knows exactly how many of Russia's nukes actually work. They're mostly Cold War nukes and haven't exactly been maintained well since, so Russia's so-called nuclear deterrent may be a paper tiger. But Russia has some other cards to play, although they might be long shots. Russia's biggest problem in the war has been a lack of allies. Most of the world has either lined up behind Ukraine or largely stayed out of the conflict entirely. While some left-of-center leaders, like Brazil's President Lula, have issued statements blaming both sides for the conflict, few are actually supportive of Russia's attack. Those few allies include Russian unsafe Belarus, outlawed nations like Iran and North Korea, and fuel wars of proxy conflict between the U.S. and the opposition. Those two countries haven't provided Russia with most of its weapons, as it's been the only way for the nation to get equipment while avoiding sanctions in recent months. But it's far from enough to make a difference, which is why one ally might be the key. China's playing a key role in Russia's war so far. Xi Jinping wasted no time picking his arm around Vladimir Putin and declaring their great powers in sync, bolstering their power in opposing the U.S. Since then, China's been a critical ally of Russia under sanctions. It is one of Russia's largest trading partners and has been key to fighting its supplies. Analysts believe that China wants Russia to win the war, pick up at region conquest, where China's eventual attack on Taiwan will be less strongly opposed by the international community. So, if you are wondering, why doesn't China act like they're all in? Xi Jinping talks of Putin not supporting Russia, but he's been hesitant in one major area. It's not supplied Russia with AKA weapons. This is an area where Russia is in dire need. There might be a couple of reasons for this, with the most obvious being that China fears secondary sanctions from the West. Unlike Russia, China has massive ties to the United States in just about every sector, especially technology. We could stick with sanctions because of its involvement in the war in Ukraine, it could so devastate countries' economies and cut it off from valuable resources. But there might be one even bigger factor. Right now, Russia looks like a loser. China is running the business and even business as usual. China is probably ready to supply Russia with what it needed in the early days of the war, but as soon as an attempt to conquer Kiev failed and NATO rallied, China backed off. That means, ironically, the more Russia needs weapons, the less likely they are to get them. China is probably waiting for evidence that Russia can win the war before they become more involved in it.